and subtracting fractions. To add with common denominators, add and subtract the numerator and keep the denominator. So if I have 1/6 plus 3/6, I keep my denominator, add my numerator. 1 plus 3 is 4/6. Simplify if possible. 4 and 6 are both divisible by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So your simplified answer is 2/3. If you have different denominators, then you have to find the least common multiple to find the common denominator. If you don't find the least common multiple, that's okay. If you find a bigger number, you can always simplify later. So the least common multiple between 9 and 6 is 18. You multiply 9 by 2. What you do on the bottom, you have to do on the top. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 9 is 18. To get 18 out of 6, you multiply by 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. Rewrite as equivalent fractions. 10 over 18 minus 6 over 18. And then you have common denominator, so keep your denominator and add or subtract your numerator. 10 minus 6 is 4. And then if you can simplify, 4 and 18 are both divisible by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So your answer is 2 9s. So let's practice this. Number 1, I have a 3 and a 5, so I do not have common denominators. I need to find common denominators. The least common multiple between 3 and 5 is 15. To get 3 to 15, I multiply by 5. 1 times 5 is 5. 3 times 5 is 15. For 5, I multiply by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 5 times 3 is 15. So I have negative 5 over 15 plus 9 over 15. When you are dealing with positive and negative fractions, if you find your common denominator, keep your denominator, and then look at this as an integer problem from what we learned a few weeks ago. I have negative 5 plus 9. My signs are different, so I subtract. If they're different, I find the difference. 9 minus 5 is 4. The bigger number is positive, so my answer is positive 4 over 15. Positive 4/15. For number 2, I do not have a common denominator. So I have to find a common denominator between 7 and 4. The least common multiple between 7 and 4 is 28. So I multiply 6/7 by 4. 6 times 4 is 24. 7 times 4 is 28. So 24 over 28 minus, for 3/4, I multiply by 7. 3 times 7 is 21 over 28. Now that I have a common denominator, I keep my denominator and then subtract my numerator. 24 minus 21. Remember, anytime you subtract, you do keep change opposite. That's your additive inverse. Keep your first number, change subtraction to addition, take the opposite of the second number, and then go back to your integer rules. My signs are different, so I subtract. 24 minus 21 is 3. My bigger number is positive, so my answer is positive 3 over 28. Remember, anytime we're subtracting, we always turn this into additive inverse, turn it into an addition problem, so we use our integer rules. But if it's a basic problem like 24 minus 21 and you know that the answer is 3 because that's a basic math problem, that's fine. You don't have to change it to additive inverse. Okay, additive inverse is just there to remind you of how to solve your integer rules. All right, and for number 3, last one, my common denominator between 12 and 8 is 24. I multiply 10 over 12 by 2. That gives me 20 over 24, negative 20 over 24. And I multiply 8 by 3. That gives me 9 over 24, minus 9 over 24. Keep your denominator. I have negative 20, negative 20 plus negative 9. My signs are the same, so I add them and keep my sign. That's negative 29 over 24. 24 will go into 29 one time because we want to convert this into a mixed number. 24 will go to 29 one time, that's 24. And then your remainder is your numerator. Negative 1 and 5 over 24.